Yeah, we're a few months away from the Spartans versus the Hoosiers on the football field, but that's not going to stop us from talking about what is at stake. How did each team get better? Let's talk about it. Locked on Spartans, Locked on Hoosiers crossover. Let's go.
You are Locked On College Crossover, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Today's crossover episode of Locked on Spartans and Locked on Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Folks, how are we all doing today? Just like we've already said, it's a crossover episode here. What's up, everyone? Matt Sheehan over at Locked on Spartans. And over there, that strapping gentleman, that's right, that is Jacob Goins of Locked on Hoosiers. And Jacob, how are things going for you over there? Because our basketball team just has everyone's knees exploding over here. Are you like having a good offseason overall, or what's life like in Bloomington?
No, it's good, man. Football recruiting is top 25. Basketball, we got a new coach and still waiting when we record this, still waiting on a commit for high school, but we restocked and reloaded in the transfer portal. So things are good in Bloomington, man, and hopefully the same for you over in Sparty Land.
Really quick, I know we're going to talk primarily football. We'll get into basketball at the end, but more transfers for the basketball team or the football team in Bloomington? What is the higher number?
It's pretty close. I would say football just because of the roster sizes, but it's very close. Very, very close, yeah.
So let's talk about football here because this is what we've been doing over at Locked on Spartans Country. We've been going week by week, talking way too early previews for these matchups, kind of a broad overview how each team has gotten better, but I like to start the conversations with what will the stakes be for this game? This will each be our seventh game. Kind of a tough question to answer because we don't really know how things are going to look midway through the season. But what we do know is the schedule. And over for the Indiana side of things, you guys open up against 3 greater Bloomington area high schools. I mean, which is great. Like, I actually love that scheduling. Why not get yourself some chip shots to start the season? Don't risk it for any biscuit that's not there. And then when you get into Big Ten play, it gets tough for you guys, of course. Home versus Illinois, at Iowa, the bye week, and then at Oregon right before this game, at home against Michigan State. Whereas for our stakes in this game, we have a stretch of the season where it's 3 road games in a 4-game span. This is that 3rd road game, and not like Michigan State's in any position to ever do this right now, Jacob, but could be a little look-ahead game here because Michigan is coming up the following week in East Lansing. But yes, goes without saying, would be important for Michigan State to win this one. But what kind of stakes are on the line here for the Hoosiers as the Spartans come to Bloomington?
Well, you mentioned it. The season starts on the weaker side, I will say. I've been having to deal with that every week on the Locked On Big Ten Squad. Somebody brings it up. They always do. And look, there's no defending what we've got. Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, and Indiana State.
Amazing.
I can't. I literally can't do it. And so
just embrace it. That's all you can do is just embrace it. Be like,
we're going to be 3-0, man.
Thing.
Yeah, we're going to be 3-0. Then we have Illinois in Bloomington, which could be such a big early game in the Big Ten before we go on the road to Iowa. You mentioned the game against Oregon, and then you guys come to town in Bloomington. But with those 2 road games and a bye week, it'll be a 3-week period in between playing at Memorial Stadium. And so the idea and the hope, I think, for Indiana fans is if you can come into this game with just the 1 loss on the road at Oregon, we're not there yet to beat our chest and say, we're going to Eugene, we're going to get a win against the Ducks. We're not there yet. But I think we're good enough to beat Illinois and beat Iowa. Illinois at home and Iowa on the road. Tough, yes, but we're good enough to do it. And so what would be at stake is to continue what is a really, really good start, because you look at the back half of the schedule, much more doable than the front half. After Michigan State, it's UCLA at home, Maryland on the road. We do have to go to Penn State and Happy Valley, but then Wisconsin at home and Purdue on the road. Like, Michigan State, this game for the Hoosiers is crucial because while I just humbly think Indiana will be the better team, Michigan State's got to have every chance to win this game, and one that if the Hoosiers want to make it back to the college football playoff, we probably can't afford to lose. And I would assume for you guys, Matt, this could be a game that turns the season around, or maybe you can put this – put this on or maybe not turn the season, I guess turn the program around where this is a big win for you guys and leading up to this and maybe build momentum for the back end, no?
I don't think that's overselling it whatsoever, because right now we're at a place where this program needs some juice. It needs some energy. And I know that sounds so cliche and corny, and what does that really matter? we just need some semblance of big wins here. And there's a very realistic shot that Indiana can be a top 25 team. For the last 3 years, Michigan State only has one of those wins, and all the other games that they've lost, I think it's 11 or 12 other top 25 games they've lost, haven't even been within 20 points. So it's not that we've been losing these top 25 games. We've been getting rolled. So if you can go on the road against Indiana, and right now, again, this game's not going to kick off for another 6 or 7 months, but the S&P Plus numbers have this as like a 13-point favorite for you guys. This would be a real good win for Michigan State. There is no mincing words. This is not the Indiana of old. Like last year wasn't just some flash in the pan. Oh, the only year you guys are ever going to be good.
Thank you.
Well, really, I believe the vision in Kurt Cignetti. I don't care about all the roster turnover that has happened. Actually, let's just talk about that if you don't mind here, the roster turnover, because the last time we've talked, Justin, I think we beat you guys, right? It was 10-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then there was like a power outage on my television, and then I just didn't even care to watch.
Yeah, you quit watching, right? Yeah,
I quit watching. We did the post-game show. I said we did it. We drubbed Indiana, but no, actually, things did not go much better after we went up 10-0 in Spartan Stadium. But obviously, a talented team. But this has been the whole thing that people have been talking about with Indiana is, they're going to lose a bunch of these players. Let's start there. Like, what have you guys lost from last year that you're most nervous about so far? Before we get, into all the transfer portal ads that you guys have had, what are you nervous about over there?
Well, it's funny that you kind of ended it with the transfer portal ads, because the few things that Indiana lost, we made up for in the transfer portal.
Gotcha,
the main one being the quarterback spot. Curtis Rourke came in from Ohio a year ago. Nobody else knew who he was, but he came in, and I have planted my flag on this, and I will die on this hill. If he doesn't get injured last year, he is in New York for a Heisman ceremony. I think he was that good. I really, really do. But you replace him with Fernando Mendoza from California. More on that in just a little bit. But the real storyline for me, Matt, is not what Indiana lost. It's what Indiana brought back, which is an All-American linebacker in Aiden Fisher, who could have gone pro but decided to come back. That's D'Angelo Pons, who's an All-American corner, who's going to be on that side of the football. Michael Kamara, who I think will be an All-American defensive lineman. And then your two best receivers from a year ago, Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt. They're talking about Surratt possibly being a late first-round NFL draft pick. You bring all of that back on a team that made it to the playoff a year ago. That's what I'm excited about. The concern is the offensive line, which you brought in some help. More on that in a little bit. Sure. Because Indiana struggled in the big games, the Notre Dame, the Ohio State. Like those games, there were clear differences on the fronts with the big boys. And it's just kind of where it is. That's where Indiana's at and has been historically, is we don't have the dudes to compete with Ohio State, Notre Dame in the trenches. That's the concern once again this year. We brought in some help for that, but I'm really excited about where this team is. A little bit of a concern with the running back room. I think it'll be more by committee, but curious on how you're feeling with Michigan State in terms of concerns or losses, or maybe something that is flying under the radar for you guys that people should know about.
How much time you got? You got like 45 minutes, because we can just run through the whole gamut right here.
Just let it rip, man.
Let's go here. Jacob, can you lose something you've never had? That's like what an existential question to ask right now. This goes beyond football, but the pass rush is the biggest question mark here for Michigan State, and that was never even a question last year, because we had the answer, and the answer was that it stunk. It was terrible. It was awful. It was historically bad. They went 6 or 7 games without a single sack. So, there's a lot of question marks Michigan State went into the offseason with. They had 4 position groups that they absolutely needed to overhaul in the transfer portal. 4th place, we'll call it the secondary. 2nd place, or 3rd place, the receiver. 2nd place, the offensive line. 1st place, defensive end, pass rush. Yeah, they took care of the receiver room, got some really good transfer portal additions. They really added some nice pieces on the offensive line. In the secondary, they've had like 27 bodies on that side of the ball. So you feel good about 2nd, 3rd, and even right off the podium, 4th place. But, man, the gold medal winner of what do you need to address this offseason, it's a lot of unproven guys. It's a redshirt freshman from Air Force. It's a guy that didn't play a single snap as a true freshman last year, while a former 4-star. Didn't play a single snap last year from Wisconsin. You got a guy that wasn't even like a starter at Georgia State as well. You got a guy from Texas Tech that lost his starting job. So is it going to work? I would love to say that we found some diamonds in the rough. Hey, some young blood. I feel fine about David Santiago, this kid from Air Force I was just talking about. But I only feel fine about him. Like no one's a real home run there. So that's the biggest question mark because I don't know if you know this, Jacob, or not. You can't get to the quarterback in football. You're going to have a hard time winning the football game.
You're in trouble.
Real hard time winning the football game. Yeah, and I don't care how good or bad your secondary is. If they got 17 seconds to run routes back there, how is it going to win? So that's the biggest concern a few months out from this game is, okay, it was really bad last year. Did we even get better in that area this year? Because as good as he got everywhere else, will it matter? Will it matter? So, yeah, talked a little bit about that the last few weeks on Locked On Spartans. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting this summer. Guys, if you're already following the action, well, why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you could get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. Like, hey, for example, this week, guys, Rocket Mortgage Classic right here in sunny Detroit, Michigan, and it's a wide-open field. There's not going to be a Scotty Scheffler or anyone that's pegged to run away with this thing at, like, plus 200 odds. No, it's wide open. So come, close your eyes, ride with me, Min, Woo, Lee, 45-1 over at FanDuel right now. Or, guys, if you want a Spartan, Ryan Brem, currently 1,000-1 odds to win the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Odds subject to change, of course, but hey, guys, get in on the action, whether it's golf, baseball, the Gold Cup going on for soccer, whatever it is, do it with FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, well, hey, it gets even sweeter for you because new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Open up the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started.
It's a tough spot to be, man. It's a tough spot to be.
It's a fascinating spot to be. I'll tell you what. I just need the season to kick off just to start finally getting answers on a few of these things. Right. Because the other interesting part with the secondary is, like, we got a lot of guys from lower levels. We're talking like Bowling Green, UConn, Eastern Illinois, Texas State, which they produced well there. But boy, howdy, G. Willikers, is that a leap going from, like, Group of 5, FCS, dare I say, to Big Ten football. So can it work? Sure. Why not? Will it work? We don't have the answers there, but at least, like, you see the vision with what they're doing in the secondary.
Right.
Whereas the pass rush, we are just buying a $1 scratch-off lottery ticket. We're hoping it reads $5,000.
Just praying, baby. Just praying.
A lot of prayer here. Hey, you guys got a prayer answered in the spring, though. Fernando Mendoza, he is just an okay quarterback. 4-star transfer out of Cal. How'd you guys do this one? Like, what the heck, man? I really thought that we were going to get a break here and that, hey, Indiana, they have to break in an unknown quarterback. But son of a gun, here we are.
Yeah, I mean, one of the many additions that Indiana made, and that was one of the answers that we needed. It was at quarterback, it was at the offensive line, and then it was getting some more linebacker help, another starting linebacker, and then just depth, really, because, again, we didn't lose a ton from either the portal or graduation or the NFL. A couple of guys got drafted, but nothing crazy, both of them to the 49ers, which is kind of fun. But you brought back so much talent from a year ago, and people just seem to be overlooking that. But the few problems you had, you fixed. Fernando Mendoza is going to be your starting quarterback in Bloomington, and I think he is a carbon copy almost of what we had with Curtis Rourke a year ago. He's a very smart quarterback. He doesn't turn the football over, and he just makes the right decision, Matt. He just gets the ball out of his hands. He finds the open man and doesn't get himself in a whole lot of trouble. I mean, this is a guy that went on the road to an SEC team and won in the first couple of weeks of the year when he was the quarterback at California.
Yeah.
California, man. We're not talking about an overly talented team around him, and got it done on the road at an SEC place. I mean, that's big time stuff for a guy who is now going to be playing in the Big Ten. So I just don't see a whole lot of adjustments here other than hopefully a more complicated offense in a good way that's more dangerous than what he was using at California, but he can just beat you in any given way. Can he throw it 75 yards down the field in the air? No, probably not, but just makes the right decision. And we're hoping that the offensive line in front of him is much better than what Curtis Rourke had a year ago. And we hope that because you go and get several offensive linemen at Power 4 schools. You get one from Ohio State and McCalkey. You get another one from Colorado. And you get Pat Coogan, who was probably the best offensive lineman in the entire transfer portal, who will be your starting center from Notre Dame, who, yes, played in the college football playoff. So that's the hope, is that side is protected. Your quarterback is going to be good. He's got all sorts of fancy receivers to throw to, a new tight end from Tennessee and Holden Stays. Okay. And the defense is going to be just fine. The defensive line's going to get after it. Linebackers are going to be solid, and your secondary is going to be one of the best in the country yet again. Matt, Indiana's defense statistically was the number 1 defense in the country last year.
Gotcha.
I believe that will be very similar this year. They will not be a reason that Indiana loses a football game. I think Indiana is there's different names, different players, yes, but in terms of talent, they're the exact same as a year ago, and they made it to the playoffs. So I don't know why people are down on this team. Their win total with our friends at FanDuel is 8.5, but you guys are 5.5, man. 5.5 for Michigan State? That seems a little
that's only 3 games.
Yeah, that seems a little disrespectful. I mean, you guys made enough additions for that to be wrong, right? Surely you go over 5.5 wins there at Michigan State.
Oh, I think so. As angsty as I sound, and you can hear the confidence in my voice right now, but like I do think so. Yeah. But my God, like the pass rush has to be anything but like anemic. Like it just has to be like
it was that bad. That's the focus so much.
It was
for
very
you guys.
bad. It was very bad. I got the stat written down somewhere in my notes. I'd have to do a lot of scrolling, but the story goes something like this. We had, I think, 19 sacks last year, and 11 of them came in the first 3 games of the season. So we went the last 9 games of the season with like 7 or 8 sacks, and of course, there's that storied gap between. It was bad. So can you just be like somewhat barely okay? And it wasn't even just the sacks, Jacob. Like they weren't even getting like hurries on the quarterback. We weren't even seeing what eye color the quarterback had in a lot of these games. It was a very comfy Saturday afternoon for a lot of opposing quarterbacks in like October and November. So, yeah, it just has to be okay because everywhere else I feel okay about. I think linebacker's going to be in a athletic enough position, stop the run, defend the pass, which hasn't been our strong suit in the last few years. Secondary, like I said, can the experiment work? Perhaps. On offense, this is where we're going to make our bread and butter here because you got Aiden Childs, who like talented, raw, mistake prone. Yes, he is, but is he electric? Does he have all the physical traits, both with his arm and his legs? Absolutely he does. You got Nick Marsh, the receiver, who might be the best receiver in this conference, who's not named Jeremiah Smith. Like, he's a real ball-catching machine. You got Amari Kelly next to him, transfer out of Middle Tennessee State. The line is going to look revamped. They're going to have experience, depth, a D word we haven't used in so long here when it comes to offensive line talk. So at the end of the day, you are talking about a win total with 5.5. We're not talking 8.5. I'm not saying MSU is going to barnstorm to a 9-3 season or a 10-2 season, but
we're talking a bowl game, Matt.
We're talking the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl, Jacob. We're talking the Cure Bowl. We're talking the Banana Stand Bowl. We're talking a new hoodie in the closet for the first time in 4 years. Like that's what we need over here. So I think they can claw above 5.5. The schedule, while never great in the Big Ten, it is friendlier than it was last year. But let's talk about you guys here, because I did have this written down in my notes here. We are in flawless two-step right now. 8.5. I could hear it in your voice. I could hear it in your words.
Yeah.
Why am I not putting my mortgage, my parents' mortgage, my in-laws' mortgage on the over here responsibly? But why am I not doing that? I feel like this is the no-brainer play, right?
Well, I mean, other than the fact that we are going to start 3-0 with the schedule, we do have to go to Eugene, and we do have to go to Happy Valley. That is tough. Oregon, and that is Penn State. That is extremely tough. And I am a humble, honest, realistic Indiana fan. We're not there yet. Sorry, we're just not. Can we compete in those games? Absolutely. Could we pull off an upset? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Could we win? Yes. Will we win? No, probably not. But you look at the schedule, and there are some big-time opportunities here. I think the Michigan State is a perfect example. One that Indiana, you said it, will most likely be favored in, but cannot overlook. I look at Illinois as the same way. I don't know how you feel. I'm not sold on Illinois just yet. I got to see it to believe it with the
I like them. Right? Yeah, I'm a Bert Bielema believer here. So
okay. That is in Bloomington, though. We do get that at home in Bloomington. That does scare me with that being our first big game of the year in week 4 of the season. Yeah. Going to Iowa is tough. Then the Oregon game. Then there's you guys. We do get UCLA at home. On the road at Maryland, not overly worried about that. Penn State on the road. We play Wisconsin the second to last game of the year on November 15th at home in Bloomington. But Matt, my prediction is Luke Fickell will not be the head coach there.
Good.
He will be out.
I like that.
See ya. Mm-hmm. Indiana will win that game, and then Purdue is terrible. Purdue sucks. So we will dominate Purdue, and Indiana's going to be fine.
Are you worried about Luke Fickell getting fired right before that game, though, and then it, like, re-energizes the locker? You want him to be fired, like, after week 8, like 2 weeks ahead of playing. You got to think about those.
I'm looking at their schedule because, remember, Wisconsin plays at Alabama, at Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, at Oregon, back to back to back. Nah, he's gone.
Oh, my God. I had no idea it was back to – oh, whoa. Okay. We gotta.
And then Washington comes from Seattle to Madison and very well could beat them. So
that's spicy. Oh, boy.
Yeah, Luke Fickell will not be walking into Bloomington. He will not even be on the plane to Bloomington.
No, I'm going to put a Google reminder on my phone after this to do a wellness check on Ryan Herring's, great host of Locked On Badgers, to just see how things are going in mid to late October.
And so we have so many. He's going to need it. And he's already got it in his fridge. Let's not act like he's going to have to buy anymore.
He is a Wisconsin fan. That's true.
He's been there and done that. So,
good point.
Yes,
good point.
Overall, I think Indiana has every opportunity to go over on their win total, but you start dropping some of those games that you won last year and some of these that are dicey on the road or even at home, it could get interesting. Yeah. But I do think Indiana has a say in who makes it to the college football playoff out of the Big Ten in 2025. That's my prediction.
I'm a believer in over 8.5. I am. I'm riding with you guys here.
Love it.
You guys ever do basketball talk over there at Locked On Hoosiers? You guys,
I mean, every now and then, it's almost an everyday occurrence.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Look at you. This is exciting because, look, this is one of the home and homes that we have. This isn't just, hey, we're only going to Assembly, or you guys are just coming to Breslin Center to almost ruin my great vacation I was on. Things got better after that game last year, but oh man,
not for us.
Well, kind of. You won the battle, though. We won the war. Yeah. You won the battle, and you also won ruining my last hour in Epcot when I'm watching that game on my phone with fireworks going off behind me, and I just wanted to yeet that thing right into the pond in the middle of that beautiful park that mouse has built. Anyway.
You did a post-game show from there?
From a laundry room closet in the hotel. I did.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a sad one.
That is commitment to you, Locked On Spartans fans. That is Locked On.
Oh,
that is commitment.
We had 20 bags under each eye for that one. That was, no days off here, Jacob. That's right. We keep chopping away. But I don't even know, like, this is, I've been doing this for a long time. I should know what questions to ask at which time. You guys have had such a crazy offseason of turnover. Obviously a new coach. Like, what question should I even ask first, Jacob? Like, how are the vibes?
That's a great question. Yeah.
There's so much going on.
You could ask which players came back from last year, and I would tell you 0.
So short answer.
I would say 0 because that's the case. There were a couple that were trying to get extra years of eligibility and do all that mess, but we know how that goes, and it's just been a disaster. Darren DeVries is our new head coach. For those of you that don't know, he's the one who coached at Drake for a long time, was very successful, went to West Virginia for a year. His team was all banged up. They should have made the tournament, got robbed, and now he's coaching at Indiana. And so another question to ask is, okay, well, who the heck did you get? Who did you bring in through the transfer portal? And
everyone.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, honestly. I mean, a lot of really good players that I think could end up making Indiana really, really good. There's no just one big superstar that played at a Power 4 school that everybody's just foaming at the mouth over. But likes of Lamar Wilkerson, who was a top 15 scorer in all of college basketball last year from Sam Houston.
Yep.
You bring in Tucker DeVries, who is the son of Darren DeVries, who played at West Virginia. He was injured last year, only played 6 games for them, but the year before was his best year. He was the one that everybody really wanted and just made sense. Right, that he was going to follow his father to Bloomington. And then Reed Bailey is one who is a Davidson transfer, 6'10". He's going to be your center. Backup center from Florida's on the squad. We just picked up a Serbian sharpshooter the other day who shot it over 40% from 3 in Serbia. Just saying. Yeah, so there's a lot of dudes on this team. And I won't bore everybody with all the guys that we brought in, but not a single returning player, Matt, on this basketball team. It's going to look different. It's going to be different, but some really exciting games on the non-conference schedule already. We're playing Marquette. We're playing Louisville. We're playing Kentucky again. That rivalry is back. We're very excited about that one. But what about you and your Spartans? Are y'all going back to a run in the tournament, to an Elite Eight after getting so close to the Final Four?
Yeah.
Can you do it again, my friend?
I can see the vision. It will be tougher than last year because Jace Richardson ain't walking through that door, and he did a lot of things for this team at all three levels of offense too. Also a plus defender, of course. But, yeah, I mean, outside of him, you lose Trey Holloman, you lose Jaden Akins. Frankie Fiddler is whatever. But who we added through the portal, Divine Ukachukwu, athletic point guard. He's definitely, 6'3", plus defender, 16% shooter from three, though. So I don't know if that answers any of our problems from the
16,
like what me and you would shoot after like 5 beers each. Yeah, that's that's the percentage from three. Obviously, he does some other things well in his game. Hopefully you can coach him a little better. But, yeah, he's more of just like your 3 and D guy if you didn't count on the 3. He's mostly D and plays above the rim, but nevertheless, the 3 guy is Trey Fort, guy from Sanford, shoots at a high volume around 36-38%. Yeah. And then we have Caleb Glenn from FAU, 40% shooter from 3.
Florida Atlantic. They don't go by FAU anymore, Matt. Come on now. It's Florida Atlantic.
Did I miss a press release? Oh, son of a gun. Shoot.
You didn't know that?
No, man.
Oh, dude, they raised all sorts of commotion about it.
The Owl fans in the comments are going to light me on fire right now.
Uncultured Matt Sheehan of Locked On Spartans. Come on now.
I don't know ball.
No, you know ball. You just, So you don't know your Florida Atlantic. That's okay. That's all right.
I've been to the campus, too. It's a beautiful campus in Boca Raton.
It is. Yeah.
So anyway, with Caleb Glenn, from one problem to another of getting the school name wrong, he only has one patellar tendon now in his body. He's out for the entire season, so we lost him 5 months before this year's even kicked off.
Dang.
Which is great. Just in like a shooting drill. Apparently, from what I've been told, he was just loading to just go up. So freak accident. But anyway, so we got 2 transfers to work with. What we do like, though, isn't who you added through the portal. It's guys you already have. Jackson Kohler, real solid, and he's coming into this a stretch 4, one of the best rebounders, if not the best rebounder in the Big Ten. You got Cohen Carr. If he can add a jump shot to his game, you're looking at potential lottery pick in the NBA. Already the most athletic guy in college basketball. If he could actually have some semblance of a jump shot, okay, watch out. That'd be nice. And then Jeremy Fears, a point guard who really came along at the end of last season. His first true full season after that, incident tragedy that he had in his freshman year. So, yeah, the transfer portal haul was nice, but it's who you kept from last year's team. And in this day and age of college basketball, you count that as much as you do your great splash portal gets here. So I'm feeling good about Michigan State, even with the injury. Do I feel as good where we ended last year? No. But, I think we're going to be on that second tier of Big Ten teams right behind Purdue, who I think is a tier by themselves. Sorry, and if I know, I just wanted to whisper that. We can edit that part out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think, there's a good blanket to throw over that second and third tier, which I think is where our teams are right now. So,
yeah, that's fair. I just hope the Big Ten basketball conference, top to bottom, is better than it was. We need some of the bottom team. Indiana being a bottom third team a year ago because we missed the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, right, right.
We need to get back to being relevant, and I just want Ohio State and for Maryland and these teams to be back in the conversation to compete with the SEC top to bottom. That's all I want from the conference, and Indiana's got to do our part. I know that. I'm sorry. We'll be better this year. We're making the tournament. That's all I'm saying.
Because there's no question the Big Ten is going to cannibalize itself throughout the entire season, but just instead of just a bunch of chihuahuas going at it, let's get the cane courses in here. Let's get to where we once were, just heavy weights every single week. So we'll see though. We'll see. Should we do this again in a few months?
I would love to do this again in a few months. We'll talk some football, and then we get to preview basketball. We'll do some pregame shows. We'll do all sorts of good stuff, man. When Spartans and Hoosiers get together, it's just a lot of fun. Whether it's good or bad, we normally have a good time.
I got to say, well, it's usually good for you guys because usually the next thing that happens after we talk, I'm not smiling on the next show, the postgame show. So
W.
But hey, until then, guys, what's up? It's Matt Sheehan over here, Locked On Spartans. Over there, Jacob Goins, Locked On Hoosiers. We do this every single day right here in the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, go take care of yourselves. Love you all, even you Hoosier fans out there. We'll see you.